For the Cold War research project, I was assigned East and West Germany, and as many of you may know, East and West Germany was once a whole. But around 1946, East and West Germany, they split in half. The East built the Berlin Wall to physically stop people from moving from the East to the West, or vice versa from the West to the East. The people in the East had it way worse, like their freedoms were restricted, rights were taken. At the end of World War II, the Allied powers conquered Germany into four zones, each occupied by the U.S., Great Britain, France, or the Soviet Union. Although an eventual reunification of Germany had been attended, the new relationship between the Allied powers turned Germany into West versus East, or democracy versus communism. East being the communism and West being the democracy. After the war, living conditions in West Germany and East Germany became such different. West Germany set up the capitalist society and experienced such a fast growth in their economy that it became known as the economic miracle. With hard work, individuals living in the West could buy gadgets and appliances. The opposite was happening in the East, therefore the East couldn't do anything. When East Germany became its own country, it was under the direct influence of the Soviet Union, a communist society established. Freedoms were restricted in the East because of the communist society. By 1950, many people living in the East wanted out and wanted to move to the West. The living conditions in the East were scarce. By July 1st of 1948, the East Soviet Union leaders had blocked all land and water routes into West Berlin. The people of West Berlin could not survive long without food and other necessities for survival. They would be forced to become part of communist East Germany. Communism in Germany could not be efficient because it lacked essential properties needed for rational allocation of resources. The Berlin Wall was built on the night between the 12th and the 13th of August 1961. And as you may are wondering why the Berlin Wall was built, it was built because the economics and political were too bad in all Germany, so they want to divide it to make it easier. Like the economics, too many well-educated people moved from the East Germany, and some worked in West and lived in East. Like it was just too much work. Political, the West interfered with the East. That's pretty much it for that. Just to give you an idea how things were, between the years 1954 and 1960, East Germany suffered what they called a brain drain. During this period, 4,600 doctors, 15,885 teachers, 738 university teachers, 15,536 engineers, and technicians moved from the East to the West Germany. Altogether, that is a total of 36,759 people migrated from the East to the West. If that gives you any idea on how things were back then and how bad they were, that they had to migrate different homes. This affects us today because if it wasn't for this time, we might still live in a communist society, and we all know how that turned out. We now live in a democracy where it is a much better place. That'll be all for my iMovie project. Thank you for listening, and here are my sources that I cited.